Hey, it's Adrienne, Capricorntigress of Astrology, a Look Inside. And I'm back after literally a month of Sundays, or at least a month. I've been away. And let's talk about why I think I was away. But I feel like a lot of people are away. It's why I chose that avatar that I chose, because she's in meditation, she's far away, she's in deep thought, and she's not with everybody or anyone who would be with or around her. She's away. And that's, it actually caught me, I guess, being that way, just away. Now, this can take effect in certain ways. Now, I could be away mentally, emotionally. I've been away physically. I've been away psychologically. I've been away, okay? But I've been on TikTok and just trying to understand TikTok and figure out how to master TikTok. And in the meantime of doing that, I mean, I've gotten a couple of violations. So that's the one thing that bothers me about TikTok. I think they're afraid of getting into trouble because of all the trouble they had. And therefore they're not actually, it's hard to post things there now. I got a violation for duetting someone else's post. So I'm fighting that because, hey, I didn't create the darn post. It's already floating around on TikTok. And if you don't want other people to duet it, first of all, either stop the duet on it or take it off so others don't see it, agree with it, and then want to duet it. It's almost like a trap. Anyway, I saw the entire video on Facebook, no problem. So I'm like, what are they talking about? Plus, there were tons of people with clips of that same incident. And so, and if it was the riverboat incident, if anyone out there knows about the riverboat incident, that's what it was about. And there was just a scene in that, and I'm just going to give him his props. Yeah, no man, they situation. I mean, we're talking Alabama, I believe it was, and it was a typical Alabama mob. It went after this black boy. One boy hit him, and then another boy came up and hit him, and then another boy came up and hit him, and some girls came around and started beating on him, and then there was a whole crowd of these, excuse my expression, but white people beating up on this black boy. Now, what happens from here is hysterical to me, but it is shocking. So I understand why they would want to take it off because of that. It's shocking for some people, and there is some violence in it, but they have to take it off for everybody. You can't just have it floating around and then let unsuspecting people duet it and then give them the violation for something that you're floating around on TikTok. It's unfair. Anyway, so back to the story in this riverboat Alabama situation. So these, white kids were beating it down this little black boy, little chubby black boy. They were all around him. I mean, there had to be, I would say, 7, maybe 8. And I kid you not, black folks came out of nowhere. Now, I know this is not supposed. They came from every direction, I swear to God. They came from land and sea. A boy starts swimming, and the boy just jumped in the river and came. They're calling him a hero. It's hilarious. But I maybe it's what I said. This is what I said, and I'll say it here. This is 2023. If you think that black people are going to sit around and let you enslave them, abuse them, and especially beat them like that, you're sadly mistaken. Because black folks will come out of nowhere to protect a boy or girl in that situation. We are not going to sit by and let 8 people just beat some boy to death and just sit there and watch it. It's not going to happen. And what is it with the racism and stuff going on anyway in 2023? Stop that mess. There used to be a song out years ago by Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. And I can barely speak, let alone sing, but I will try. And it was something like, teach your children well, the parents' hell or surely go by, or something like that. And be within your dreams, because the past is just a goodbye. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh. And they know they love you, or something like that. Anyway, teach your children well. Okay, I'm old. I'm bringing up old 70s songs. But teach your children well. Don't let your kids go out there and take out their racism on someone, like just jumping on that one kid. That was just wrong. So there was some unsportsmanlike activity going on regardless of color. But then I do sense that was perhaps racially motivated, because they were going to beat that boy to death or beat him to the point where he would have needed some serious medical condition. But I'm telling you that the Black people came out of every direction. So if that's wrong to say, it was a hilarious. I love the video. That boy is a hero. He swam to his defense. I just can't get over that. He swam to his defense. Now it did get a little out of hand, because I saw their clips, and in one of the clips, or at this point there, it had gotten escalated. Okay, because when I say Black people came out of nowhere, I mean they came from every direction for real, and they were beating the living bejesus out of some of those boys and girls out there today, or whenever that was taped, and it was not pretty to see. So I can understand why you wouldn't want to keep that going on without warning, but it was they earned that. I don't think anyone wants to see any of that, period, but we really don't want to see a crowd of people beating a Black boy to death. We're not going to tolerate that. This will not happen in 2023. I need all the racist people to understand that not only just Black people, but I think people of all colors will not tolerate that. We will not allow that. Here you are in Alabama. That kind of stuff is not tolerable. And people need to teach their kids. It's not tolerable. Look, just because Black people don't go around beating up people all day like some of y'all want to do to them, doesn't mean they don't have the ability to fight. And I think that was proven in that video. I mean, we can all be copacetic with each other, or you can live like that. Who wants to live like that? No one. So teach your children well, and understand that nobody is anyone's slave. In 2023, you have no right or privilege to beat someone to death in 2023 and think others are going to allow it to happen. It's not going to work. It will not be tolerated. And that was the point of what I was trying to say. And maybe that was a little too harsh, but that is the reality of it. Because really, and I'm going to segue right into everything else I love to talk about, which is, there's a lot going on with the MAGA and the Trump and stuff. And this is why I have not been coming live. Because when I go live, I talk about the things that are currently going on. And some of those things that are currently going on are just a little bit too harsh for the ears of those who don't want to hear it. And sometimes I'm thinking I'm just talking to myself anyway, so I'm just going to say what I got to say. I hope it doesn't offend anybody, but look, I'm just talking to my computer right now and into my microphone, and I'm saying what my heart and soul and mind wants to say. Now, I will apologize beforehand because I've got, Pluto retrograding in my first house right on or around my Mercury. My Mercury's at 3 degrees of Aquarius, and my South Node is at 29 degrees of Capricorn. I kid you not. So this Pluto is sitting on my South Node in the first house. And that's not always good, because the South Node is what we do automatically, what we remember from a past life, but not necessarily what we should be doing now. What we should be doing now is really the opposite of the South Node, and the South Node tends to bring in some negative stuff. And in Eastern astrology, the South Node and North Node is characterizes Rahu and Ketu. Rahu and Ketu. Now, in this case, I'm Western astrologer, so I'm going to refer to it as the South Node. And man, it was never good. 29 degrees of Capricorn is not good for anybody. Let's keep it real. I'm going to pull out my trusty degree book here. Let me see if I can pull that out. And I'm going to tell you exactly. I think I've done this once before, but if I haven't, we're going to definitely do it now, which is look at 29 degrees of Capricorn and what is going on with that 29 degrees of Capricorn. What does 29 degrees of Capricorn actually, show? And I'm also going to look at 0 degrees of Aquarius. How's that? We'll do that. But let's look at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So listen to this. I have underlined it before, but it looks like it was many, many moons ago. It says silence and contemplation away from the business centers of the world are sought after here. He seems to have an inborn wealth of spiritual knowledge, which grants him serenity and poise. He may be musical or poetic, usually with a touch of melancholy. He is also usually a collector of something. At the very least, he is conservative by nature, desiring to save and make use of everything of value. There is a great love of animals and nature. He might do well as a dairyman. His outlook is usually practical and simple. He loves natural settings and prefers to work and live outside. He might also do very well with forestry, especially as a ranger or stationed at a lookout post. Now that is 29 degrees of Capricorn, and we are experiencing Pluto going backwards, retrograding into Capricorn at 29 degrees. All the way until basically, I think it goes into 0 degrees of Aquarius, and I'm going to tell you what that is. If I'm not mistaken, I think it doesn't go back into 0 degrees of Aquarius until January. So we're going to be dealing with 29 degrees of Capricorn, even though it starts to go forward again until January. So this is a major degree. What I just read, go back, listen to it again, because it's going to affect a lot of our lives. Now, I think the funny thing is when Pluto went into 29 degrees of Capricorn, what happened on the East Coast? And really here on the West Coast too, but all that forest fire, all the smoke from Canada came down, and the smoke of the forest fires, it completely blanketed the eastern seaboard of America. It's incredible. We've never had anything like that before. But look, at 29 degrees of Capricorn, it says it rules forestry. Did it not? Forestry, and forestry is trees and forest fires and things of like. They said they might even do well to work well as a ranger stationed at a lookout post. And I think there has been a lot of emphasis on the forest fires. I mean, whether it's the fires here in Washington state or the fires up in Canada, the fires I think has started in California again. These fires this is part of it, I think, this forest. But it's about, I think, spiritual knowledge as well, because it says there is an inborn wealth of spiritual knowledge, which grants him serenity and poise, musical and poetic and melancholy. And I want to say about the spiritual, I sense that the poetic, I sense that as well. I sense there is an undercurrent of spirituality in just about everything we touch and do and say. at this point, because I do feel like there's almost a battle for good and evil at this time. Um, Especially when you look at things going on with the MAGA and then, the rest of us. And sometimes when you talk to a MAGA person, I try not to when I can avoid it. But they'll say things like, yeah, we're going to start a civil war or whatever. And I'm like, well, look, there's 75% of us at this point, because Trump is losing in the polls every day. I think people are starting to catch on that he really is a criminal, regardless of how you personally feel about him. We have to accept the reality of who he has always been. And I have said this on this before. I have not hid this fact, but I am from New Jersey. I grew up in New Jersey hearing that Donald Trump was a crook. I always knew Donald Trump was a criminal. And it's just like Chris Christie said, he filed bankruptcy on 3 different casinos 3 different times. That's 9 times. People were built out of millions of dollars. That was obviously a scam that was pulled. People out of millions. So this is a person who's ruined the lives of many, many people already. And I'm not even going into the slum tenant homes that he had in New York. There's so many stories of what he did to Black folks in New York with the tenant, the home buildings. It's legendary. So when people pretend that's not who this fellow is, I'm like, come on. I mean, obviously, even when they talk about it now, there's rumors. That's what Schiff was getting at when they shut him down and shut him up, was that his son, Trump's son, had met with someone over in Russia prior to them interfering with that election. And can I say this for the umpteenth time? When they found out that there was interference in that 2016 election, they should had a runoff again and redid it. There was a problem with the voting. Why they never did that to this day, I do not know. That should be something that is put in the record, that if someone, if there is found that there is actually corruption, because remember, that was determined to be true. They said it was Ukrainians at that time or Russians. But look, what difference does it make? They interfered in that and messing with Hillary and Trump. And it was because of their interference that Hillary didn't win, because she had 5 million more votes than Trump in that election. It was those electoral votes that made him win, and they were fake. Now, with the 2020 election, let me say this about the corruption. They have already started arresting and even passing out sentences on 2020's election fraud, where they were using fake electors to go in and do the same thing. I think the crazy part is that he was in shock, and why he keeps saying that people cheated is that didn't work, that he still didn't win. And what he doesn't understand, and what some of his followers don't understand, is that we who did not vote for him are 70% of the nation. And we fired him. He was fired on purpose because we already had a clue. We couldn't prove he was a criminal or that he was whatever, but we all who did not vote for him had a clue, and we knew. And we began looking at you guys who don't have a clue as people who are in a cult. We call you MAGA cult fanatics because that's every bit of a cult. Now there are facts, not just rumors, facts that are coming out, even recordings of him committing crimes and doing heinous things, and other people around him who are also being indicted and being found guilty, some of them turning over evidence so they don't have to do time. There's so much corruption and crime. Yet he comes out and points a finger at Biden and his family. And I'm thinking, wait, Hunter had a drug problem. He had some sex maybe outside of his marriage, and he didn't pay his taxes on time. That sounds like a normal person spiraling out of control to me. I don't see any horrible corruption in there. However, Trump's son getting 2 billion with a B from the Arabs, there's something a little sneaky about Jerry getting that amount of money. For what, Jerry? For what? We all know there's some crime there, but they have not looked at the real crime, family. Just keep showing Hunter with his pants down. And that, by the way, I heard Hunter is going to sue Marjorie Taylor Greene over it, which that makes me kind of happy. Anyway, as you can see, this is why I haven't gone live. Because my mind is really kind of on that current affairs, which are crazy, right? I've been on that. I've been really looking at that. I'm a huge fan of the Midas touch. Shout out to the Midas Mighty. And I have really been keeping my eye on it because I feel almost that it's my responsibility to say something. If not, we'll be gaslit. There'll be propaganda. You'll hear people like Marjorie Taylor Greene telling you lies. She believes that the insurrectionists were innocent. And we saw with our own eyes what they did. It was disgusting. I don't like being gaslit. And that's what they've been trying to do. Like, I think the time of them pulling the wool over our eyes is just about over. And they are being found out in a big way. Every day there seems to be another crime or indictment or charge or in various states and in various levels of government. Yet they keep pointing the finger at Democrats and the DOJ and at people who are just doing their darn jobs. That's it. That's their job, to find these facts. These are facts, not suppositions, not these people that they always say we got these smoking gun and then it ends up being some criminal that wants to stay alive. No, not that. We're talking about real things like recordings, videos, handwritten documents, employees, people who know, who recorded things because they already knew it was dirty. Stuff like that. Anyway, let's look at what 0 degrees of Aquarius is, because I think once we move back into 0 degrees of Aquarius, or we see where we're going to understand what's going on. So this is what 0 degrees of Aquarius is. It says there is a spontaneous quality here, which comes from the cusp influence of Aquarius, still held down by the stability of Capricorn. And Capricorn is very stable and very responsible. And we're seeing a lot of things happening with capitalism and things like that. Anyway, there is a real need for balance here. There are superior abilities coupled with lightning-like insight, which sometimes lacks direction. He usually has great and responsible concern for humanity and is capable of important leadership positions. He must watch carefully to see what the exacting laws of Capricorn are adhered to until he has developed further his own sense of spirit of the law. There is budding insight which looks beyond the bounds of what has been established and invents new ideas and techniques. But this must be carefully gauged to make these new inventions practical and workable, which is a demand of Capricorn. He needs careful training to develop the best that he is capable of. His imagination must not be curbed by rigidity, but it must be carefully guided by known principles in a successful way so as not to be discouraging. So this is all about the mentalities, the ideas, the techniques, and the thoughts and the inventions. And it's about that mindset and the insight that comes. That's what we're building. That's what we're growing to. Because I feel like with a lot of the people who have voted for Trump, God bless them, there was not very much insight. And to fight you when you tell them the facts, that's not very smart either. Because when someone tells you something that's true, you tend to want to, you should listen. I think people have been persisting in a dream, but that dream is not real. Now, this might be because Neptune is retrograding. And when Neptune goes retrograde, people have to wake up. And they have an entire campaign in the GOP asking people not to wake up. Doesn't that make you suspicious? Why wouldn't they want you aware? Why wouldn't they want you awake so that you know what's going on? I mean, it's one thing to be like I am in this photo with my eyes closed in meditation, but it's another thing to be a complete ostrich with your head buried in the sand and making pretend that things are what they are not. That's why you have to be awake, because you have to have discernment. Can you imagine driving without being awake? Can you imagine trying to get to any destination if you're not awake? Awake is vital. That's called discernment. How can you even make a decision if you are not awake enough to know what is what, to know facts from fiction, to know real from fake? I feel like a lot of people have been brainwashed. I feel like it might have happened slowly, but it definitely happened. And I said earlier, and I'll say it again, that I believe many who believe the lies that were told by Trump will need therapy, because that man was never in your corner, and he was never going to make America great again. Not by tearing it apart. You would never be able to rebuild it in a lifetime. So you know it was a false utterance. And no country is made great again by civil war. It didn't work the last time. That's why we're still in this in 200 years later almost. Don't listen to craziness. It's time to wake up for real and do what is right for our nation and for your family. You got lineage, right? You want your family to live. Donald Trump didn't even believe in global warming. This man not only allowed 1 million people to die, a million people to die. You know what the history books are going to say? They're going to say that this man allowed 1 million people to die, telling them to just use bleach. That is reality. I said in one of my videos just the other day, it was not until Donald Trump himself developed COVID and recovered in a miraculous way that any of us had any inkling that there was a vaccination or cure. We found out because they used it on him. People forget that. And I'm like, wait, was he going to keep that secret so that only the rich or the top 1% were going to survive? I think his anger at Biden is that Biden never allowed him to exploit whatever that vaccination was, because he had it and he knew he and his family were safe, and probably all the top 1% that he had in his crowd were safe. It was sick. We never need that kind of person in office again. And a lot of us will never, and I mean never, forgive him for allowing 1 million people to die. 1 million. So say what you will about that vaccination, but he took it and he's still alive. And I've taken it twice and I'm still alive. My child's taken it a few times and she's still alive. Her husband's taken it and he's still alive. And everybody that's taken it usually are still alive. But you know what the best part is? We have not been out spreading freaking germs to everybody else. That's the only thing that's stopping COVID. So you guys who don't want to do that, you guys are disgusting, because you have to take vaccinations for everything else. When the TB vaccination came up, guess what everybody had to do? They had to take their TB shot. When the mumps came, they had some for that. Guess what everybody had to do? They had to take their mump shot. Rubella, they had to take that. All my life, we've been taking a vaccination shot. So I don't get the mindset behind it, especially since that man took it himself and freaking survived. So stop it. I am so done with MAGA lies and cult followers. So we are going to do another healing in this before I go, because I feel I did a healing, I think it was back in February or March, and I feel like I need to do another healing now. Now, I will say, I didn't even mention the planets because I'm not happy with them. Let me just explain. We have the sun at 15 degrees of Leo. Now, that is exactly square my Neptune on the midheaven. And it squared my moon down in the fourth house. And it's opposed my Saturn in the first house. I'm not happy. Taurus is at 9 degrees, squaring my Saturn in the first house. I've got all kind of grand squares going on. Mercury sitting on my Pluto in the eighth house. I've been like, oh gosh, I don't want to, a health scare. Mars is at 17 degrees of Virgo in my eighth house. So, I've got all these secrets and deep thoughts I want to talk about, but I don't know if everybody else was here and talk about all these deep thoughts. And Venus is at 23 degrees of Leo, which, by the way, is on my Mars. So Venus is on my Mars, but it's retrograding in my seventh house. Jupiter's at 14 degrees of Taurus. It is trine my sun exactly. It's square my Saturn, and it opposed my Neptune right at this very moment. Saturn at 5 degrees of Pisces is exactly opposed my Uranus and Virgo in my eighth house. Again, I felt like I was going to die today, but there it is, Saturn. It's retrograding, but it is kept me poor so far in 2023. I am not happy about having Saturn in my second house in the slightest bit. Neptune, as I mentioned, is at 27 degrees in Pisces. And that is trine my Venus, but that Neptune is retrograde as well. And so it's really weird, it's just a really weird time. Also, we got Pluto retrograde in Capricorn at 28 degrees. Now it's sextile that Neptune. It's also sextile my Venus. And I think that's the only thing that probably made me want to come out and make this video today. I kid you not. I had no desire to come out and do this video whatsoever. I'm just like, because I've been lazy. I mean, the Taurus planets have kept me lazy for a minute. We got the moon in Taurus today, Jupiter in Taurus today, and Uranus in Taurus today. Thank goodness none of those planets are retrograde. I think that's the one area that is forward moving is Uranus and all of the Taurus that we feel today. The North Node in Aries is at 27 degrees. And so there's another 20. We got almost three things in 27 degrees because Pluto is retrograding. So amazing, right? We've got Chiron at 19 degrees of Aries. And that is square my sun. And it is sextile. Oh, no, it's trine Venus at 23 degrees of Leo. And that Venus is retrograding and Chiron is tears. I mean, I would, if you've got any relationship issues that crop up today, don't try to take a stand and have a fight today. Just don't do it. Go relax and chill. That's what I highly recommend. It'll get you nowhere to get into a battle today and to get stubborn. With the moon in Taurus, that could happen. And it's not going to benefit anybody. It definitely will not feel as though it benefits you. And if it's not giving you any, satisfaction of benefiting you, why do it? Right? I mean, I do things to feel good. Like I might put my open mouth, insert foot, that type of thing. But at least I felt good doing it because I am only going to do the thing that makes me feel good. If I don't feel good, I probably ain't going to do it because I'm lazy like that. And stubborn, and I usually don't do what I don't like to do. You can try to force me, but it won't work. I'll just get lazy and then I won't do anything. I'm really stubborn like that. So I'm looking here for, maybe it's under something I purchased. Give me a second. I've gotten to a point where I have so much stuff that I cannot find my end quote stuff. And that just tells me I have way too much stuff. I have a lot of stuff. Most of this stuff is good stuff if I was to organize it and do it right. But I don't organize it and do it right. I just don't do it. I need someone else to help me organize all this stuff. And since I do everything on my own, stuff just don't get done. It's just a whole bunch of buildup of stuff. And it's like so many things. It says, purchase this, purchase that. And I'm like, really? Really? I don't recall any of it. Okay, let me just see. This is a shame, right? I have too much stuff, end quote stuff. So let me see if I can find. I should have had this prepared before I went live, but I didn't because I'm just operating at the moment of inspiration. A moment of inspiration. You know, it's the best way to do it. That's what I believe. I know not everyone believes that, but I do. I really do believe that. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is not what I wanted, I don't think. But let me just check. So I'm going to see if I can get this. Hold on. Oh, excuse me. That was wrong. So sorry about that. I did the wrong thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, I think this is my old one, right? I think this is the old one. But I might do that. Here you, I'm so sorry, you guys. You're listening to me just ramble on here. I just wanted to make sure I pulled out exactly what it is I wanted to say today. I really didn't want to just, I want to make sure I have everything as I want here for you guys. And, I've got a lot of stuff here, so it's just taking me a moment, and so just bear with me. Okay, let me see if this is it. Okay, let me see. Okay, I think this is going to be it. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, good. I'm just going to do something basic, okay? This is not going to be anything too deep, okay? It's just going to be just a few things that I want to share with you. And just give me one moment. Okay, so, okay, here we go. So I want to say this before I go any further. By continuing on with me, you are giving me permission to share these healing words and healing messages to you. Of course, if you're not open to this healing, then I would say you would want to back off now, because I'm about to do some healing, and I just wanted to give you the opportunity to leave out if that is what you so desire. Okay, so I am a sacred soul alignment practitioner. I have been a sacred soul alignment practitioner for several years, actually. It's been quite a few years now. We say about 3, maybe. And I love what I do, and I love what we do in this work, because we actually get to help people to feel better, and if nothing else, better about where they are at that moment in life, right? I feel like sometimes we get caught up and it just feels I don't know, we just feel disconnected, if that makes sense. And it's important that we find ways to ground ourselves, to feel that we are in a good, positive place, and that we are doing good, positive things for ourselves and for others. I really believe this is important. And to me, sacred soul alignments really kind of helps me to get to that place where I feel that all of that is being addressed and taken care of, where I feel that I am being fed spiritually. That's a good way of putting it. And I think that's really important. And I'm sorry I'm going slow. It's certain things that I'm looking for that I swear I should have access to, and I don't see them here. And it's kind of throwing me off, because I'm like, wait. I know I've got this, that, and that, and I can't find it. But I think what it is that I had some older things, and I think that's what it is that what I was looking for was in some older things that I had. And so that's why I am taking a little bit longer. Okay, so bear with me as I open all the things that I need to make sure that all the things are here. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything, and the thing I'm looking for I have not found, and so it's a little bit frustrating to me. So just bear with me as I attempt to open the thing I'm looking for. So let's see if I think I might have found it. Thank goodness, I think I have. Yeah, I think I did. Okay. And it is because some of the newer things that she offers, they don't get quite as much as we got many years ago. We were given so much more because I was a sacred soul alignment practitioner and healer, and sacred soul light healer. So it was 2 different things. And it's just slightly different today when they train the healers. So I wanted to kind of go into what I'm going to do and explain it. I've done it before. Some of you may have seen some of my videos, so you know what I do, you know how it works. But I just want to explain it in case you didn't know. I'm going to first take us into the pathway to the heart of creation. And that is a foundation from which we'll be working. It'll help to help you to get into the right place by engaging your heart. It brings into awareness by deepening your breath that we're activating the 40,000 neurons in your heart and activating our heart brain. So we're going to also be entering into the theta brain state, which is the most optimal state for healing and rewiring the subconscious mind. And when we also activate compassion, when we bring in the pink light of compassion, we potentially enter into a recently discovered gamma brainwave state, which is referred to as the unifying brainwave unity consciousness. And in this state, we can achieve supercognitive enhancement, a calm state of mind, accessing our deepest intuition. And that is really important for me, okay, as the healer. But I think when we connect to our God, creator, source, we're doing healing work and we're entering into a sacred trinity. Like I will be entering into that sacred trinity with whoever is listening to me and with between me, you, and God. And with this connection, we're able to engage our creator self, our own I am presence, and the creator self of you who are listening, and myself. And so this is an aspect of myself who is receiving the healing, or yourself that's receiving it. And also engaging in universal creator God consciousness, sending out healing from the creator, from me, to the creator, to you, and also engaging the universal God consciousness, creating co-creating a healing. And when we connect with the heart of Gaia, we're connecting to the ascendant aspect of Earth and drawing or anchoring the healing into a physical reality. And this is really important in co-creation. So that's why I really like to do the heart of creation before I do anything else. I really do. I think it's important, okay? So we're just going to really quickly go into this heart of creation that we have, and then we're going to go over some alignments that I want to give to people who are followers of Trump. And I'm going to shut down the background music, okay? Because I really want us to get into a deep place that is a spiritual place, a healing place, a positive, a place that just soothes the mind and soul. So take a moment to get comfortable sitting up with your spine straight and your feet flat on the ground, or lying flat, settling into your body, bringing all of your energy into the present moment, and relax. Closing your eyes, allowing yourself to land right here, right now. Allowing your body to relax even more. Now place your focus and awareness onto your heart and just breathe. Allow your breath to slow and deepen, breathing as you're breathing directly from your heart. Allowing your inhale and exhale to slow to a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now continuing this long, slow, deep breath through your heart, as you bring your awareness to the energy of compassion. Compassion is one of the highest frequencies that we can access as human beings, and one of the building blocks of creation. I invite you to see, sense, feel, or imagine the energy of compassion as a beautiful pink light surrounding you. And now, as you breathe through your heart, using your intention to breathe that pink light of compassion into your heart, allowing this energy of compassion to fill and expand your heart. With your next breath, allowing this energy of compassion to expand into every cell of your body, feeling the cells of your body vibrating with the frequency of compassion. With your focus and awareness on your heart, feeling into the heart to heart connection between your heart and the heart of Gaia. The ascendant aspect here of the plane, aspect of the earth plane, and the heart to heart connection between your heart and the heart of creation. Pure source energy. Noticing the beautiful golden light in the heart of Gaia and the glorious iridescent light in the heart of creation. And now, with your next breath, simultaneously begin to breathe this golden light from Gaia and this iridescent light from the heart of creation into your heart. As you breathe these energies into your heart, allowing the golden light from Gaia and the iridescent light from the heart of creation to merge with the pink light of compassion, creating a beautiful iridescent rose gold light, allowing this iridescent rose gold light to expand your heart even more. With the next inhale, allowing this light to fill all the cells of your body, allowing this beautiful iridescent rose gold light to expand beyond your physical body, going 12 feet out in all directions, filling your entire toroidal field, your entire energy field, creating a beautiful iridescent rose gold ball of light that you are in the center of. Taking a moment to notice how loved, nurtured, safe, and protected you are in this space. As you continue breathing through your heart, imagining the beautiful iridescent light flowing down from your heart of creation, connecting you with the energy of all that is, with potential, with possibility, with pure source energy, allowing this energy to move through your entire chakra column, traveling all the way down into the heart of Gaia, and imagining the beautiful golden light from the heart of Gaia flowing up, connecting you with the infinite wisdom, wealth, knowledge, and abundance that Gaia holds, coming all the way up through your entire chakra column, traveling all the way up to into the heart of creation. As these energies flow in through and around you, witnessing this beautiful ball of light that you are in, expanding with every breath you take. And now I invite you to feel into your heart to heart connection between your human aspect and your divine aspect. The highest aspect of your soul that's guiding you through your human experience. And now allowing your human aspect to merge with your divine aspect. And as you merge with your divine aspect, feeling yourself expanding into all of this light surrounding you, you feeling yourself expanding infinitely, expanding all the way into the heart of creation, expanding all the way into the quantum field where all potential and possibility exists. Just staying in your heart, breathing through your heart, connected to the energy of all that is. Just breathe and allow yourself to expand into the energy of all potential and possibility, anchoring all of that into every level and layer of your being across all time, dimensions, and realities. So let's talk about the alignments now that we've done the heart of creation, because the alignments are wonderful. And there's a couple of alignments that I want to share. I shared some of these before, but I really want to share these again for those who seem to be stuck, um, almost trapped in their inability to develop discernment when it comes to Donald J. Trump. So there's several things I want to share. So I want to share Wide Awake because, you know, there, this whole spiritual healing and spiritual awakening can be physically and emotionally challenging, and it often brings up deeply embedded hurts and pains to be cleansed and released. And this is known as a healing crisis for many healers like myself. So you might have some difficulty or pain or feel a crisis when I talk about these things. But this alignment will bring in a high energetic level of support to strengthen and expand the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, and allow graceful and painless spiritual awakening you to the spiritual possibility of awakening. A Wide Awake also brings in a special light codes to support the structural changes that happen in the physical body during the transformational spiritual upgrades. And with this alignment, people who experience headaches, flu, cold symptoms, or who go through emotional overwhelm and exhaustion will feel that they no longer experience these symptoms, even when processing exceptionally strong healing. So, in divine love and light, run a sacred light belief healing. Creator, change it. And there are some beliefs that I really want to clear for some of the MAGA people, because they are literally using religion as a weapon, a tool, and I don't believe that is how Heavenly Father or Spirit or God or the light would want you to use that. So some of the beliefs that we're going to clear away are that God is a punishing God, a vengeful God, or a selfish God, or that God hates me, or that God is punishing me, or that I must pay for the sins of my father. I feel like for races, that is part of the curse, that I feel like they're carrying on the sins of their ancestors, and it's not necessary. or I am separate from God, or I cannot speak to God directly. And that is something that has been taught in several religions that I've been a part of, that we need Jesus as the intercessor because we're not able to speak to God directly. So another one is it's not safe to be seen. And I battled this a lot, which is why you see my avatar right now. But it's not safe to be seen. If I'm seen, I will be killed, tortured, tormented, imprisoned. That is a big carryover from, I would say, the religious persecutions and stuff like that, the killing of the witches, stuff like that. Also, being a healer, doing this work is a lonely path. That's another thought. I must do this work alone, or there's no support for me. Some people may be feeling that. So, this is a belief that we're also going to get rid of. Also, I must walk this path in poverty, in struggle, in sacrifice, in pain, in illness. And that is a false belief that we are getting rid of. Or I don't belong here, or it's not safe to be in my body or on this planet, or I am a victim, or I must carry the weight of the world on my shoulders. And the reason why I wanted to say that one, and also this one, I alone am responsible to heal, save, help the world, is that one of the issues with the Christian right is this insistence of forcing other people to adhere to their religious doctrine. And it is not your job. We all are going to meet with our maker individually. You will not be there. It is not your responsibility. It's something we all must deal with individually. And I really feel that when you interfere, you're interfering with the positive that can come from people learning on their own accord. Anyway, another one is it's not safe for me to see, to know, to hear, to trust my intuition or inner knowing, or everyone is born a sinner. That's when a lot of churches teach. Or I cannot trust my heart, or I cannot trust my intuition, or I am unworthy to communicate with God or with the angels, the guides, the masters. Another one is no one understands me. I am too different. I am too sensitive. Or my abilities are a curse, a burden. These are thoughts, that beliefs that we must get rid of. Another one, I cannot discern beings of 100% light. I cannot recognize trickster energy. I cannot trust my own knowing and discernment. And this alone is why I wanted to do this, because I want all of you MAGA followers to know that you can discern those who are 100% light and those who are of darkness. You can recognize trickster energy, and you can trust your own knowing and discernment. You just have to open your eyes and see. And or another thought is everyone else has abilities but not me, or I'm unworthy of doing healing work, or I'm not holy enough, or I'm not pure enough or special enough, or I'm unworthy or undeserving of receiving healing, or I'm unworthy or undeserving of receiving support from God, universe, my guides, my higher self, or I must punish myself or others by not healing, or I must punish myself or others by being a victim, or healing is wrong or bad. Only God, priest, or doctors are allowed to heal others. Another thought to release is life is hard. Pleasure or joy or happiness is wrong, is a sin. Or suffering will get you close to God. Suffering will get you into heaven. There is no proof of that, people. It is wrong to ask. This is another thought. It is wrong to ask for too much or for anything. Where did that come from? It is not wrong to ask for help, and we should not shun or look down upon those who ask for help or ask for anything. See, these are false beliefs. Another one is, I am unworthy of doing this work, of shining my light into the world, or I have to take on the suffering and beliefs and emotions of others in order to help them heal and save them, or to punish myself. Or receiving money for doing healing work is wrong. That is a big one, a huge barrier, even for myself. Or another one is, all service work must be done for free. This is something we have been taught. It is not true. Another one is, I must sacrifice myself to do this work, or healing work and spiritual work is sorcery and it's the devil's work. All of these are false beliefs that must be released and removed. And so, in divine love and light, run a sacred light belief healing, creator change it. And we are letting go of all of that no longer serves us. I have a couple more that I want to share, because this again is for people who are holding on to a crazy mindset that seems to be blocking them. And the first is a slavery detachment, because MAGA are slaves to this man who is not worthy. So we may not be conscious of it, but so many of us have experienced some form of slavery in this lifetime or other lifetimes. Slavery is also a reality that we can create for ourselves, pushing ourselves to work harder, faster, and do more, but being unforgiving of ourselves, beating ourselves up over mistakes and errors, and feeling like we are unworthy of happiness and abundance. These are all forms of slavery. So, this alignment will dissolve the shock and trauma from lifetimes and timelines of slavery in any form. It clears oaths and vows and contracts connected to slavery, including slavery to money, to any group, to any organization, to any religion, to any individual, including ourselves. This alignment also releases and heals the energy imprints or patterns of slavery taken on from collective consciousness, other lifetimes, or realities, or in the DNA. So, in divine love and light, create a sacred light belief healing, creator change it. Also, I like to bring in success without sacrifice, because we often have embedded beliefs, oaths, and vows that tell us that we must give up a lot to gain a lot, that we must experience strong resistance to success because we simply don't believe it can happen without sacrifice. Nothing could be further from the truth. Extraordinary success can come to us with ease and grace and in ways that are beyond our imagination when we release all resistance, such as oaths and vows that compel us to believe otherwise. So, this alignment will eliminate resistance, including beliefs, oaths, vows that have us living with the expectation and creating a reality where immense sacrifice is needed for success to happen. It also gives us the knowledge, the true knowledge and understanding of success, what it feels like, and that we are worthy of it just by being who we are. So, in divine love and light, create a sacred light belief healing. Creator, change it. I love that. And I'm going to share this one too. Because one of the things that I often hear from MAGA cult followers is how bad it's doing. Like they've got themselves convinced that it's the worst time ever. And it is not perfect, but it certainly can be worse. And I'm grateful for the good that exists now, not for the bad. So this is called You Can Have It All. Is we're all familiar with the phrase that you can have it all. I mean, this phrase or something like it is often used to soothe and console those who are struggling with or having difficulty or challenge in one or two aspects of their lives while enjoying happiness and success in other areas. While this phrase is often uttered with good intentions, it's completely false. Releasing any and all related fears that support this false belief will set you free to finally experience what it means to have it all. So, this alignment will bring in the knowledge, understanding, and perspective that you can have it all. It clears fears around having to choose about losing one thing in order to have another, such as losing love to experience wealth. This alignment also brings in what it feels like to have it all, that you are worthy and safe to have it all. And it clears fears of external judgment, punishment, and jealousy others may have around you having it all. So, in divine love and light, create a sacred light belief, healing, creator changes. So, I hope that whoever has had an opportunity to hear what I had to say has gotten, oh my gosh, 111 again. I keep seeing 111. I see it over and over and over. And I just saw it again. It's just amazing. I've seen it 3 times today alone. And it's amazing. 111. I will just say this and then I'll go because obviously Divine Spirit wants me to share the meaning of 111 with everybody because I keep seeing it. And it means to have confidence within yourself and motivate your own strength and decision making. I love it. It's determination and courage. The angels want you to focus on tapping into your inner strengths. It can mean fresh starts. It's starting over. You're headed in a new beginning. You can nurture your connection with your higher self. And there's also a sign that a deeper love could be coming. It's new cycles and guidance. It's about looking at your health in a holistic way. Strong motivation and decision making. Opportunities are on the way. Divine alignment. It's beautiful. It's prosperity, manifestation, wealth. The possibility of your thoughts becoming true. It's amazing. So I love this, okay? I love that it's been popping up for me a lot anyway, but that it showed up right as I was about to finish this today because it's been over an hour and I'm about to go and get some rest. And I hope that this healing that was shared in this today, that it touches the right hearts and that it does the job that I pray that it was meant to do. Much love, much light, many blessings to you. And I invite you all, I have not shared it, but I will put this link here really quickly because I would like to invite you all to consider purchasing a reading with me and getting to do that. I thought I had another one here, but I don't see it. I'm going to put this link here. Give me a second. Because I definitely want you to see it with your eyes. So you know what to do when I talk about it, okay? And you might need the spelling of it too. So Okay, so here we go. I am going to add that. Can I have that? Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to show that. And there, it put that there on the bottom. And this is if you would like to make an order going to calendly.com. Astrology a Look Inside is how you would make an order and or schedule an appointment. That way you don't have to worry about making an order on the website because that can get confusing. You can just go directly to Calendly, schedule your appointment through Calendly, and they will notify me and we will meet on said day. Okay. So I wanted to let you know that that is available. And the readings, they go from low to high. They're pretty much normal prices. Might be a little bit more expensive than the $15 or $20 readers, but definitely worth the extra money it takes in order to speak with a 40-year veteran of astrology and a person who has helped or has at least done about 10,000 readings before. So I look forward to working with you and hearing from you all. May this healing that was given tonight be a blessing to you. Much love, much light, many blessings to you, and happy 8/8. You know, I didn't go into details about 8/8 that much. Um, Maybe I'll make another video because the day is the 7th, and I definitely want to discuss 8/8. But I think I'm going to eat dinner before I do that. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.